topic of my talk over here is most things don't fail. They drift from origin. So first things first, we need to find out what is an origin. Most often, top organizations worldwide, they begin with a purpose. I'll share a story with you. In 1980, Howard Schultz, founder of Starbucks, came back from Italy after experiencing top-notch in-house coffee experiences and reached out to an outlet in Seattle, in the United States. The place where he went was a wholesale market for coffee beans, and he tried to replicate the experience inside United States of America. Today, Starbucks stands at around 36,000 outlets across all nations of the world. What was the purpose with which Starbucks began? Goodyear, number one formula tire company. Their purpose is enhancing mobility. If you visit About Us section of any Fortune 500 company, you will find a purpose is written over there, which translates then into a mission and a vision. Starbucks' purpose is in pursuit of doing good. And aren't they doing good? But of course, yes. And whenever you think about an organization, it is relying on systems. And systems are relying on processes and people. And systems we create to address a situation, to solve a problem. But we also need to remember at all times that any solution we create, it is going to have certain constraints or some variables which are going to impact it directly or indirectly. So as problem solvers of present times, we always need to think in those terms. That origin is from where we begin, and we try to solve few situations which are around us, but there will be always constraints. There is a certain degree of romance, if I may say so, that exists between drift and failure. Is failure a binary, or does it have multitude of characteristics that would attribute to a situation that would be known as failure? Failure predominantly, at a larger perspective, is a situation where purpose collapses. And when does the purpose collapse? That is something we need to dig deep for next 1 or 2 minutes. Purpose of any organization, if it is to do good, then why did Starbucks had a lean patch in year 23 to 24? When they brought in a CEO of another organization which was into soft drinks, they wanted to replicate it as a number one coffee brand across the world by bringing in a person who was selling soft drinks his entire life or consulting companies. All of a sudden, Starbucks stocks the nosedive because the drift was there. Now, what is this drift? Let me tell you another story. Somebody invented a torch which was supposed to throw light exactly straight to a distance up to 500 kilometers. Only thing the creator of this torch did wrong was the lens that was put in front of it had a bias of 0.5 degrees to the left. They turned on the torch, everybody clapped, and a person was sent 500 kilometers straight in the direction where torch was supposed to throw light. The person reached there, light was not there, because there was a drift. Then they flew out a drone. They checked and they found that light was actually being made incident, but at a point 4.76 kilometers to the left from where it was expected. So that is what drift can do. It can throw up unexpected situations and topple your plans. Please remember, each solution is built around constraints to a problem. or the situation that we are addressing. Therefore, the purpose of any individual or any organization or any task that we partake becomes an anchor. It is but the foundation of the system that we're trying to build. And without purpose, system won't optimize because we're picking up the wrong variables. When organizations or people, they care more about profit over impact, efficiency over meaning or meaningfulness, or compliance over curiosity, drift starts to occur from the purpose which had its roots in the origin. Some common examples: these days you see a lot of retractions happening in the academia. Universities are running for accreditations, running paper mills inside the universities, which is leading to battening. And there is a drift. Universities which were formulated to impart skills and knowledge creation for the society, they end up being a compliance-ready university without thinking too much about the products which are coming out of the university in the form of individuals and knowledge. Social platforms, we all are on YouTube, Google, Facebook. We all have joined those platforms thinking that we'll be connected. But what is happening? We're picking up fights over there. We are indulging into online debates just because of the content that is being thrown at us. So those very platforms which were supposed to connect us are leading to fights to the extent that recently, 2 days ago, a person committed suicide because he was filmed inside the bus for wrongful touching, which he didn't. That is the power of drift of a social media. People lose lives. And then comes in individuals drifting from passion to routine. The following routine, we are ticking all the boxes of the day. It is fine, we are efficient. But are we following our passion at all times? Are we able to justify our passion for which we began originally? So purpose becomes the compass. And origins are our map. And without both of them, drift is inevitable. So feedback loops and reassessments, they become very, very important as we proceed. So for organizations, collective well-being is a product of social harmony, conflict resolution, and corporate purpose. Any one of them is less than one, the end product is going to be less than what is expected. These three are multipliers of collective well-being, and organizations are about people and process. Whereas in the time of upheaval in any organization, it is actually led by well-meaning individuals. And individuals have their own journey. They have to rely on their inner compasses to recheck and reset themselves. So their own individual purpose also acts as a pole star, which now I bring you to the story of Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. Born in 1905, a counterpart of Sigmund Freud, he wrote a letter to Sigmund Freud because he was interested in psychology. Sigmund Freud obliged, he sent him some papers which he used and became even more interested in psychology. Earned a doctorate in medicine in the year of 1930. But as luck would have it, in 1942, he became one of the victims among 1.3 million which were deported to the concentration camps at Auschwitz, Germany. If you had heard about it, now you heard it. Auschwitz was the mother of concentration camps. It was a factory to kill people. And any method that you can possibly think to kill a person was available over there. He stayed there for 4.5 years, lost his wife, his parents, but he didn't lose his sense of purpose. That is the power of individual application for us. This was reported in one of the articles in European Journal of Psychology in the year 2021. But even before that, Frankl had written an autobiography called as Man's Search for Meaning, in which he observed that the prisoners which were there when he was in the concentration camp, who were having alignment with their larger purpose in their life, they had better chances to survive. And as doctor, he could observe it, which later on was postulated by him as logotherapy. Logotherapy states that will to meaning is much, much bigger than pleasure or power. So think of a situation and try to see and assess, though it's not a call of action. But still, are we doing enough to stick to the meaning, indirectly sticking to the purpose, and further indirectly sticking to the origin, or maybe directly? Are we going back from where we started? Are we reassessing where we stand in our journey within an organization or in our own personal journeys? Therefore, finding meaning is essential for survival and fulfillment, as postulated in the logotherapy, postulated by Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. So, we are back to purpose. Purpose is the rudder. It helps sail our boat. But where do we find purpose if we lose it? Go back, look at the origin. We'll find it on the contours. Looking at you, wishing to interact again and again with you. And drift can never be left alone. It has to be strangulated. It has to be found out, and a correction has to be made so that the light beam falls at the exact point where we want to. Because each one of us have a light. Therefore, re-examining origins which are rooted in already declared and identified well-meaning purpose provides us an opportunity to reset our current priorities. Because our priorities are most of the time lying in pleasure or power, which will lead us to a journey of being effective, then efficient. I'm not saying don't strive for efficiency. Do it if you have to, while staying effective. Call to action, actually no. Thank you for listening. You have been a wonderful audience. Thank you.